Yeah. And tell you what, let's bring in Peter Lancaster from WVTM, I believe, out of Birmingham, Alabama. And Peter, welcome to the show.
Greetings from Birmingham. What's going on?
Hey, man, how's the weather down in Birmingham?
Man, it's a beautiful day out here, man. It's a good omen for tonight's game.
All right. Hey, look here, man. Do you think Mike Conley is working up to what he deserves? Well, you think he's the guy right now for the Memphis Grizzlies, and do you think he fits in the top 5 as far as the guard is concerned in the NBA?
Actually, I love this discussion because Conley's on the cusp of something big here. And if he can continue to improve, continue to take those shots, those clutch shots at the end of the game, Conley can be involved in certain discussions. Now, top 5, I think you're talking about Westbrook, Chris Paul, Derrick Rose. I mean, those are elite level guys. Now, top 10, I think there's no problem with that.
Okay, Peter. Okay, name 5 guys right quick, right off the top of your head, guards in the NBA that's better than Mike Conley. Go ahead.
I think it'll be pretty easy.
Go ahead, name 5 of them for me.
Well, you got, like I said, we got Westbrook.
Okay.
You got Derrick Rose, Chris Paul. I think Rondo and what he brings on both sides of the ball. I think Rondo's definitely in the discussion. And it would be my 5th.
Mike Conley?
Darren Williams?
No, not Darren Williams.
I wouldn't even put Darren Williams there.
I think that guy is a little inflated. Man, I'd really have to think about that. But I love
maybe
Tony
Parker.
Yeah, there you go. That's mine right there. Tony Parker.
Who's that?
Tony Parker.
Tony Parker?
Yeah.
Okay, and you think Mike Conley is 6? He's close by there?
Yeah, I think he's right a notch right below those guys, without a doubt. I mean, he's. But all this came about because he had the ball in his hands in crucial moments. Those guys I named, normally, with the exception of Rondo possibly, but all those guys they're looked upon in those clutch moments to score or to create or to penetrate. And Conley has not been asked to do that truly in that role until really this postseason. To be honest with you.
In just a couple of minutes, a few minutes, we're going to have some audio here from Lionel Hollins, the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies, and he's going to give us an opinion and tell us about the game the other night, and we'll talk about that. We'll have that coming up in just a little bit. And let's talk about the guys. One of the things that was mentioned during the press conference the other night, how well the guys are playing, their poise, and under pressure. Do you think these guys are doing pretty good right now, or do you think they're showing their game pretty good?
And Peter, go ahead, man.
Oh, well, with the Grizzlies, I mean, come on. I mean, in every category that we usually control, rebounds, we were out-rebounded by 7. 9. Points in the paint by 13, fast break points by 16. I mean, we totally got ran out of all the categories that's gotten us to this point. So for us to be able to still scratch and get that 6-point victory that we got on Saturday, I think that speaks volumes of this team and the resolve of this team is, our fundamentals, we always rely on those late in these crucial games. It bit us in the first game because we had turnovers. But in this game, I mean, we were 6 for 6 in the last minute at the free throw line. And had that not happened, and had Tony Allen's defense not hampered Durant in making any kind of move towards the basket, no, we probably, like Katie was saying, I mean, every Grizzly fan honestly had to be a little nervous, when Fisher hits that 3-pointer, tie us up at 81. I mean, that's just the God honest truth, right? So, what got us to the dance is that, what actually got us through. And I'm really proud of this team, and I think tonight the same thing's going to happen. I think we're going to, at the end of the game, all these games have been close. I mean, you're talking about 2 points and 6 points for the other 2. So, I mean, it's going to come down to those last couple of possessions, and we've been lucky the last 2 games that the Thunder have actually kind of stumbled near the end of the game.
And Katie, I'm curious your opinion on the whole Kevin Durant. Who's been going crazy in this series. Really had his worst game, which is still 25-11 in this game.
But call that bad.
But you look at it, you can tell he's getting worn down. Toward the end of the games, I know Scott Brooks almost in denial at the end of the game, saying he's not tired. He was clearly tired. He wouldn't have missed those free throws. How big of an impact you think the Grizzlies' defense have made on him?
Oh, I think it's big. Me and a couple of friends were talking the other day about how it seems even Kevin Durant's, body language and things, when Tony Allen is guarding him, it's like he's almost afraid to take a shot, or he's shooting, further out, and he's just not making the same plays as he does maybe when somebody like Quincy guards him. And I think, honestly, Kevin Durant is really confident when Quincy's guarding him. And then when Tony Allen switches over, it may not be possible for them to have Tony Allen on him the whole game, but it just seems like his whole game changes, and the confidence is there. But, I think at the end of it, it's kind of one of those things where, you have two superstars, if you count Westbrook, as a superstar, I think most people would, and he's gone. What happens is then you have one superstar and then some decent players. And I think with the Grizzlies, it's a lot more balanced. And so it may not be superstars, but they're stars, and they can, work it out. And one injury to us may not be, knock on wood, as bad as an injury for the Thunder.
It seems like to me the Memphis Grizzlies, even when they were playing the Clippers, were the better team, clearly. They lost the first game by 21 points, came back and lost the next game by 1 or 2 or something, and then they won all the other games. They were by double digits, and then came back here, and it was clearly they were better than the Clippers.
Yeah.
All right, now you can look at it and tell they're clearly the better team here, but it's a lot closer. It seems like when the Grizzlies get behind the Thunder. The Thunder they were always playing catch up with the Grizzlies. And then they would catch up and maybe go ahead by a couple of points, and it seemed like the Grizzlies would come right back and score, 6, 7, 8 points in a row and always take the lead back from there. It seems like that was the thing that was happening, and it seems like that's a pattern that was happening with the against the Thunder. So doesn't that make it appear to you that Grizzlies are a much better when you're always playing catch up and you finally get there, and then the team comes back and just scores 8 straight points?
Well, yeah, to that point, I mean, a good example of that is, like we were talking about Derek Fisher when he hit that 3, to tie the game at 81, and the Thunder, I don't think they even scored after that.
No, they didn't
at all in the game. So
no, they did. It was
so it was basically locked down on those guys. And whenever you got to rely on Derek Fisher, a guy named Reggie Jackson, or Ibaka or anything like that.
Was that the baseball player?
Well, no, actually,
Mr. October.
yeah, Mr. October. Yeah, he plays for the Thunder at point guard.
Can I add something about the whole Durant conversation too?
Yeah.
And y'all might have mentioned this before, but I think the other part of the factor that I don't think we've talked about the last 2 times I've called is on the defensive end. Like Durant's having to guard Gasol. I think that's also weighing on this a little bit too. I mean, Gasol should get the ball on the post anytime Durant's covering him. And I don't understand that matchup. I think it would make more sense to have Ibaka on Gasol. But I think Durant, with his length, I think he could defend Zebo a little bit tighter. And I think with Gasol, just how many times we went to him, luckily, we went to him late in that game on Saturday. I think that really took a toll on Durant because he played 45 minutes.
Yeah,
at the end of that game, that's where the ball went every single time.
Well,
and Gasol just backed him in.
Actually, they were one of the complaints is that the Grizzlies were not going to Gasol enough, being covered by Durant, which was a mixed match. If they had went to that with that matchup a lot more, then the outcome of the game would be much different.
Yeah, and I mean he was not only was Durant covering Gasol some of the game, and he was having a lot of success against him. Gasol's been having incredible success against Kendrick Perkins. I mean, if you're a Grizzlies fan, you just want him to play the whole game the way Gasol's been running him.
Absolutely.
Well, the other thing about Gasol, too, I don't know if y'all kept up with his minutes, but I said this on Twitter. Why was Gasol out? He left with 9 minutes left in the second quarter and didn't get back in. He only had 2 fouls. And we were up by 10 when Mark sat down. And then, Mark didn't play that whole half. We go down, we're down by 1 going into halftime. And I didn't quite understand that maneuver because, it wasn't like anybody else was outplaying Mark. I mean, Zebo, he only had 8 points. So I was really surprised that we allowed our anchor on defense to sit on the bench that long such a crucial game. I doubt we do that again, but I didn't know if anybody else noticed that also on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pete, Lionel talked about that in the press conference Saturday night. I think he was just trying to give Saul a little bit of rest. I don't agree with it either, but it worked out in the long run. But I think you were talking about Ibaka earlier, and Scott Brooks pretty much. I think he just likes that matchup against him guarding Zach Randolph because he's done a great job on Zebo. Unfortunately,
Right.
he's only allowed him 8 points. He had four block shots on him the other night. I mean, Zach's just not doing well in this series against Ibaka.
Okay. Hey, guys, we're going to take a break right here. When we come back, we're going to listen to Lionel Hollins' press conference, some audio from that, and maybe some audio we've got also from Scott Brooks.
Yeah.
We're going to put those together here and play them when we come back and have our comments on that game the other night. Also, we want to give our comments what we think about the game coming up tonight at the FedEx Forum. Tip-off time is at 8:30. And if you're not down at the game, you can watch it on TNT.
Yes,
Am I
sir.
correct,
Yes,
guys,
sir. Yes,
ladies? And so that'll be tonight. Tip-off time at 8:30 p.m. Coming up at 4 o'clock, we have
we
Mr.
got
Jared.
Gerald Hoover from New York City. He covers the New York Knicks and the Nets. We'll be talking to him about the Knicks and when they're going to lose to the Pacers.
And at 4:30, we've got Mr. Richard Thompson.
Yes, sir, the founder of Mediaverse,
And,
talking all things.
I'm pretty sure he's going to want to talk Grizzlies, too. Hey, we'll be back with all this. Don't go anywhere. You're in tune to Talk Back Live with Bob.
And Josh.
7:30, Yahoo Sports. All right, and we're back. Welcome back to the show, Talk Back Live with Bob.
And Josh.
And a host of people in the studio with us today. Katie Forbes, our special guest. And we're glad to have her with us in the studio today. Welcome, Katie.
Hello, I'm glad to be here.
And our other special guest is Lancaster. Peter Lancaster from Birmingham, Alabama. And
Hello,
Peter,
hello.
hey, welcome back, my friend. Hey, we've got some audio of Lionel Hollins' press conference the other night after they put the whoop down on the Thunder.
The whoop
and,
down.
yeah. Hey, as a matter of fact, Austin Hunter gave a forecast of the game tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said it's going to be 99 to 88, and he said there will be no real threat of Thunder.
Hey, accurate and dependable.
Accurate and dependable, yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about the Thunder, all right. So, all right, let's go to Lionel Hollins' press conference, and we'll be back after this conference. Go
We
ahead.
do, but we're normally a good free throw shooting team, but in Oak City we did not shoot the ball well. We got a lot more than we got tonight, so it's fortunate that we made them tonight. We just got it out, we just gutted it out, and we defended like the first guy said. We held them to 36%. They shot 27% from the three-point line. They missed some free throws down the stretch. And we just stayed after it, as we've been all year long. It's not always pretty. Tonight wasn't pretty, but it was pretty for us because we got to win. Our bench did an outstanding job. Gave us. I said I got a crazy.
Like this, I'll make
At each other, but they go out there on the court and they try to win.
Coach Marcus Hunter with Fox 13 here in Memphis. Talk about the poise your team showed down the stretch. Oklahoma City tied the game up with that Fisher 3, and you guys just continue to show that poise and get out this win.
Well, I'm always saying that you can't have any success without any adversity, and you can't learn about yourself without adversity. And we had taken that lead on three-point lead, and he came right back in transition, got the three, and we fought back. Got a couple of free throws to take the lead again. Then we got two more free throws to go up by 4. And a big play, I don't know if most people noticed it, but we missed a shot. And we didn't have a lot of people back. And the ball was coming, which was a shooter. Martin was coming, which was a shooter. And Durant was coming. And Mark ran and took Durant. And all of a sudden the ball stopped because I think Fisher wanted to throw it to him. And then he looked up and he wasn't open. Now he wasn't open anymore. And then we got back.
Coach, Durant starts 6 of 8, finishes 9 of 19. How much do you attribute that to the job Tony Allen is doing, and how hard do you believe that Tony is making Kevin work on the offensive end?
Well, I said it before, when a guy has the ball and has to score like that, it takes energy. And the more you make him work, that's the best you can do. We can't stop Kevin Durant. He's a great player, but he played 45, 46 minutes, and he's asked to carry a huge load for them. And as the game wears on, I think that other people for them have started taking the load away from him a little bit. But I don't think that we can stop him. So I'm not attributing it to us. You got to go ask him personally why he shot 9 for 19 after going 6 for 8.
Coach Mark, you talk about Ibaka just missed open shots. Well, he's still missing. He doesn't seem to be missing a lot of open shots. You guys are on him pretty good.
Everybody that's out there shooting, we want to close out. We want to have people shoot contested shots. That's a part of our defense as well. And sometimes he had some open ones that he missed, and other times we challenged him. And the more you challenge, the lower the shooting percentage is. I mean, that just goes hand in hand. Unless a guy gets hot and he doesn't even see you. But usually contested shots create a lower shooting percentage.
Chris Harrington, Memphis Flyer. Lionel, in the first 2 games of Oklahoma City, Tony Allen and Quincy Pondexter have only been on the floor together for, I think, 2 minutes. You used that look a lot tonight. Was that an adjustment you had planned on coming in, or just the flow of the game?
Well, I didn't try to make any adjustments substitution-wise in terms of personnel, who was in and who was out. I just thought that, I want to keep somebody that might be able to play Durant a little bit, take Tony off, and then having Tony in the game allowed me to keep him on. We had Martin Durant trying to cover both of those guys with arguably our 2 best perimeter defenders. And, I don't sit down and say, I'm going to play this guy instead of that guy. I just see how it goes. And when I watched the flow of the game, it was I said, we need to stay a little bit bigger on Martin. We need to stay a little bit bigger with Durant as well. I thought, Tony battled, he was tired, Durant was tired, and, the thing was, it was just a team win. I mean, when you talk about individual this and individual that, but as a group, they hustled back a couple of times, forced turnovers in transition where they had numbers and looked like they were going to score. We took a charge on them. I just thought that we were just outstanding as a team in our effort and our commitment to compete.
All right, and that was Coach Lionel Hollins after the press conference after the game the other night, Saturday night, at the FedEx Forum. And let's talk about one of the comments he made. One of the questions was asked, how hard did Tony Allen work to try to stop Kevin Durant? Did he do a good job? I mean, what did he have, 26
25 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists.
Was that a good job, can you say, for Tony Allen, allowing him only to get 25 points? Some people score 25 points, you think that's huge. But for Kevin Durant, is that a big stop for him?
Well, he's been averaging 32 to 35 points per game in this play and throughout the playoffs right now. I'd say that's pretty good for him to just get 25. I'll say.
Yeah, and Katie, Fort?
I think also there was some point where Tony Allen wasn't on Durant for like at least a short amount of time or whatever, and I think I should have looked it up probably, but as far as his scoring, he scored a lot less when Tony Allen was on him. So yeah, I definitely think that he makes a huge impact.
And Mr. Lancaster, is this something that they need to do?
The reason why Durant had 25 points as opposed to his usual 32 or 35, whatever he scores, he had 2 points in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
That's the clincher right there, where he is
9 for
his
19.
bread and butter, man. That fourth quarter, it being held to 2 points. Yeah, that was the difference. Really, for us to pull out that win was holding him to 2 points.
I know that's the main thing we hadn't brought up, but that was really huge. You talk about Kevin Durant. That's really their only offense to go through him, and he only had 2 points. That's a huge deal to keep him down to that, and even missing free throws. So, and one thing we got to bring up too, which I know we did, was Marc Gasol in that third quarter having 12 points, and I don't know if he hit 4 or 5 straight fadeaway looking jump shots on Perkins, which is completely embarrassed the guy, which I enjoyed thoroughly. But Peter, what you think about Gasol and his smooth game, just really carrying the Grizzlies right now?
Well, that's the beauty of having 2 bigs that can take over a game when needed. I mean, that's the beautiful thing. I mean, I know we mentioned Ibaka's defense. I mean, come on, he's first team all defense. So obviously, whoever he's going to guard is going to have a tougher time. Yeah. That's where we benefit. I know we've talked about it that last two times I called in, is having two guys that could score, as opposed to, Durant. He can't throw it down to Perkins or Ibaka and expect it, for them to score anywhere from 12 to 15 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what we got with Mark and with Zebo, is at any time one of those guys is going to score 20 points for us. Sometimes they do it together, or we got to lean on one. And this situation here with Durant guarding Gasol, that's where we got to go. That's our weak spot. You call it out in volleyball. You got a weak spot. That's where it is for the Thunder. Is they don't. Perkins can't stand on the court because his plus minus is ridiculous. But with Durant having to guard Gasol, that's huge for us, and we got to take advantage of that tonight. And if we do, I really think we can close this up in 5 to 6 games, no doubt.
Okay, what do we need to do tonight on a consistent basis, Katie Forbes, to win this game tonight on a consistent basis? What do we need to do?
What is your game plan?
My game plan? Well, I think that obviously our defense has to be as good as it usually is. I think a lot of people say that the defense is what wins championships and stuff like that. So I think that that's really big. I think that stopping Durant is obviously, as obvious as that sounds, that's a big key to it. As far as going to Mark, I think that's definitely where we should be going. Basically, nobody on that team can, guard Mark.
Yeah.
And even if they could, Scott Brooks probably wouldn't know it and wouldn't put them on him. So, I think that they should always go to Mark. I think Mark should be a little more selfish as far as taking shots, maybe not always passing it back out, because he's either going to be able to score or they're going to have to foul him because they can't hold him. They can't hold him. So,
Now, what does that do? What advantage does that give the Grizzlies, though? Okay, Marc Gasol, the big guy, he can do what he wants to do out there with any one of those guys in the paint. Does that leave the other big guy, Zach Randolph, open? Does that can that be some danger down in there to the Thunder with this Marc Gasol?
Well, I mean, I know Scott Brooks has almost tried everything he could to really stop Mark, and they just can't. He's trying Ibaka, he's trying Perkins, he's trying Durant. I don't know why he thought that would work, to be honest. And
you try your best player, and you think he's best at everything else.
He's 190
pounds. You put him out there. I don't blame. Well, I mean, okay, yeah, but is this a desperation move, though?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
no doubt.
Do they feel that this thing is slipping away from them, and they're putting their best man out there to try to stop one of our best guys? Is it desperation?
It slipped away.
It's slowly looking like it right now, because I've noticed that in the end, it's like, okay, wow, he's putting Kevin Durant in this game. He has no idea. And you can listen to the press conference later. Scott Brooks, and I felt it in the press conference, he just doesn't know what to do to guard Mark.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know who to put. I mean, he's not going to put Hashim Thabit in there. I mean...
Oh, so now we're going to talk about how bad Thabit was. No, just go ahead.
Well, we always talk about how bad Thabit is, Bob. Why do you have to make it sound like that?
Oh, that's just my normal saying all the time. I always talk about that. That takes me back to some memories. That's all that does. Okay.
Anyway,
go ahead.
But
I think the key for tonight's game is I think we have our little pockets of points. I think we know what we're going to get out of Conley. I think we know what we're going to get out of Gasol.
Mm-hmm.
Our X factor tonight is either Prince or Zebo have to have that game that we need from them in the series. Now, the first game, Zebo played really, really well, but for us to keep our foot on that pedal, man, on this team right now, is one of those two guys has got to go off tonight. And with Mark drawing, I don't know if y'all noticed in the second half, I think why they put Durant on Gasol is because Gasol demands a double team. So when Mark gets that ball in a post, he's got to do something quick. And he was waiting just a little bit too long. And by the time the double team got there, it made him kind of, rush his pass. So either he's got to, in his mind, he's got to decide whether to be aggressive and take it to the basket, shoot, or get that ball out quicker. And I think that's why they were rotating Poindexter and Bayless in for Allen and Prince so much late in the game, which was driving everybody.
Hey, Peter Lancaster, it's been a pleasure to have you joining us. I don't know if that's good for him to be double teamed. It could be good in a way, but he don't have to rush his pass as much, but just pop it off to the next guy that's available, Zebo, and somebody else there. That could to the Grizzlies' advantage. So, hey, we're glad to have Peter from Birmingham, Alabama. Thanks for being with us, man.
Not a problem. And guys, follow me on Twitter, man. We'll talk about this game tonight.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
Most definitely.
And Katie Forbes is still in the studio with
The
us.
Twitter
She'll be
celebrity
here.
is in the building.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know about
We're
that.
going to talk to her again.
I gotta get
She'll
her
be
autograph.
cutting.
5 seconds heartbreak.
Still talking with us in just a little bit. Hey, we're coming back after the Yahoo Sports Report break. Don't go anywhere. We've got 1 more hour left to go, so we'll be back.
Memphis, Arkansas, Memphis, Tennessee. 7:30 Yahoo Sports, Memphis' sports station.